World Numismatic Finds and Top 5 Rare Coins brings you a closer look at some fascinating UK 2p coins that still turn up in everyday change. In this feature, we explore the 1990 coin in circulating condition, the 1996 issue showing a dirtier, well-used surface, the 1985 piece with a noticeably faded finish, the 1998 coin still clearly circulating, and the 1988 example preserved in fine condition. Each of these humble copper coins carries its own story, charm, and collector appeal, proving that even ordinary pocket change can hide something worth a second look. Let's start with the UK 2p coin dated 1990 is one of those everyday coins that has quietly traveled through millions of hands, pockets, and purses, often overlooked and underestimated. Yet for collectors and curious viewers alike, this modest copper coin carries a fascinating history and an unexpected level of attention in today's collector conversations. In circulating condition, the 1992 pence coin may look simple at first glance, but it represents a key moment in modern British coinage that continues to attract interest from enthusiasts around the world. The year 1990 sits at an important point in the United Kingdom's modern era, a time when decimal coinage was fully established and the Royal Mint was producing coins in enormous quantities to support daily commerce. The 2p coin was already a familiar sight by then, having been introduced in the early 1970s, yet each year of issue carries subtle importance. Coins from 1990 were struck to meet heavy public demand, meaning they circulated widely in shops, buses, and everyday transactions. Because of this, finding a genuine circulated example today instantly connects collectors to real British daily life from over 3 decades ago, making the coin appealing not just for its metal but for its story. On the front of the 1990 UK 2p coin, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II dominates the design, reflecting stability, continuity, and tradition. This effigy shows the Queen facing right, wearing the royal diadem, a design that many collectors associate with the later years of her reign. The lettering surrounding the portrait gives the monarch's title in clear, confident script, reinforcing the authority of British coinage. Turning the coin over reveals the iconic design that has become synonymous with the 2p denomination, the Prince of Wales feathers. This reverse design is bold yet elegant, featuring 3 ostrich feathers rising proudly from a coronet, accompanied by the familiar motto. Together, the head and tail designs balance royal identity with national symbolism, giving the coin a strong visual presence despite its small value. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1992 pence coin was produced in bronze, giving it that unmistakable warm, brownish tone that collectors instantly recognize. The coin weighs approximately 7.12 grams, a solid feel for such a small denomination, and measures just over 25 millimeters in diameter. Even in circulated condition, most examples retain their shape well, with only surface wear showing the years of use. This durability is part of what makes the coin appealing to new collectors, as it often survives decades of circulation without losing its core detail. There are several key facts that make this coin worth talking about today. It belongs to the pre-1992 bronze composition era, meaning it was struck before the Royal Mint changed to copper-plated steel. This alone gives it a distinct identity compared to later 2p coins. The 1990 issue also represents one of the last full years before major material changes began to reshape British small-denomination coins. For collectors, these details matter, because they mark the coin as part of a closing chapter in traditional bronze UK coinage. When it comes to rarity and condition, the 1990 UK 2p coin is not traditionally classified as rare in the strictest sense, but demand does not always follow rarity alone. Coins in circulated condition show varying levels of wear, from light smoothing of the Queen's portrait to darker toning across the reverse. What drives interest today is the growing fascination with complete date runs, Bronze-era collections, and coins linked to the long reign of Queen Elizabeth II. As more collectors look back to complete sets from the late 20th century, attention on dates like 1990 continues to rise steadily. This rising interest has also fueled bold conversations around market value, especially in online listings and collector circles. While the face value remains just 2p, some sellers and enthusiasts highlight eye-catching price claims in dollars to capture attention. You may see circulated 1992 pence coins being talked about with claimed values such as $1,200, $2,750, or even as high as $4,800, written clearly in numbers to emphasize perceived demand. These dramatic figures often appear alongside phrases suggesting scarcity or collector urgency, creating a strong sense of excitement around the coin. Although such figures are often aspirational, they demonstrate how much curiosity and buzz this simple coin can generate in the collector market. For collectors who enjoy searching through change or building themed collections, the 1992 pence coin offers an accessible entry point. Keeping an eye out for examples with clear lettering, strong feather detail, and an even color can be rewarding. Storing the coin carefully, away from moisture and excessive handling, helps preserve its appearance, even if it has already circulated. Many collectors also enjoy pairing the 1990 issue with other bronze 2 pence coins from nearby years to tell a broader story of British coinage before material changes took place. In closing, the UK 2 pence coin from 1990 proves that even the smallest denominations can carry big interest. Its royal imagery, classic bronze composition, and place in modern British history make it far more than just spare change. In circulated condition, it reflects real use and real stories, while the growing hype around collector demand and headline-grabbing dollar values keeps it firmly in the spotlight. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone simply curious about the coins in your pocket, the 1992 pence coin stands as a powerful reminder that ordinary objects can sometimes hold extraordinary appeal. At number 2, the 1996 UK 2 pence coin is one of those everyday pieces of change that most people have handled without a second thought. Yet when you look closer, even a dirty and well-used example can tell a surprisingly powerful story. This coin comes from a period when millions were produced for daily circulation, and because of that, many collectors today overlook it. However, among enthusiasts, interest has been quietly growing, especially for pieces that clearly show real circulation history. A slightly dirty 1996 2 pence coin often sparks curiosity because it reflects decades of use, pockets, tills, and journeys across the country, making it feel authentic and alive rather than polished and lifeless. Back in the mid-1990s, the United Kingdom was firmly settled into its decimal coinage system, and the 2 pence coin played a vital role in everyday transactions. The 1996 issue was struck during a time of stable coin production, using proven designs that had already become iconic. These coins were never intended to be rare at the time, yet over the years many have been lost, melted, or damaged beyond recognition. What remains today is a shrinking pool of examples, especially those that still retain clear details despite surface dirt and age. This gradual reduction has helped fuel renewed attention from collectors who appreciate coins with genuine history rather than perfect mint shine. When examining the head side of the 1996 2 pence coin, you will find the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created with fine detail that still stands out even on a dirty surface. The Queen's profile faces right, surrounded by the inscription that confirms her title and authority, a design that symbolized stability and continuity throughout her reign. On a circulated and slightly dirty coin, the portrait often appears softer, with gentle wear on the hair and facial features, yet this wear adds character rather than detracting from its appeal. It serves as visual proof that the coin has lived a real life in circulation. Turning the coin over reveals the classic design that made the 2 pence instantly recognizable across the UK. The reverse features the Prince of Wales feathers, a symbol deeply rooted in British tradition and history. Even when dirt has settled into the recesses of the design, the feathers usually remain visible, creating contrast that many collectors actually find attractive. The date 1996 sits proudly beneath the design, anchoring the coin firmly in its era and reminding viewers that this small copper-colored piece has survived for decades. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1996 2 pence coin follows the standard specifications used at the time. It weighs approximately 7.12 grams, giving it a solid feel in the hand that many modern coins lack. The diameter and thickness contribute to its recognizable shape, and even with years of handling, most examples still feel robust. Dirt and surface grime do not affect the weight, but they do reinforce the sense of age and authenticity that collectors often seek when adding historical coins to their collections. There are several key facts that make the 1996 2 pence coin interesting to collectors today. It belongs to a long-running design series that represents a significant chapter in British decimal history. It was produced in large numbers, yet survival rates in collectible condition continue to decline. Coins that remain readable, structurally sound, and clearly dated are becoming harder to find, especially outside of sealed collections. This combination of familiarity and gradual scarcity is what keeps demand quietly rising. Rarity is a complex subject when it comes to this coin. While the 1996 2 pence is not rare in the traditional sense, examples in honest circulated condition with clear features are increasingly sought after. A dirty coin that still shows strong detail can sometimes be more desirable than a harshly cleaned one, as cleaning can strip away originality. Collectors often value untouched surfaces, even if they show dirt and wear, because they reflect true age and circulation history. This growing appreciation has helped push interest higher than many people expect. When discussing current market value, it is important to note that collector enthusiasm can dramatically influence prices. In today's market, some sellers and collectors talk about eye-catching values that run into the thousands of dollars for standout examples. Figures such as $1,200, $2,750, or even $4,800 are often mentioned when discussing rare variations, exceptional demand, or future potential, even for coins that appear ordinary at first glance. These numbers capture attention and highlight how perception and collector competition can transform a humble 2-pence coin into a high-value talking point. While such values are often speculative, they demonstrate the excitement and optimism surrounding coins like the 1996 issue. For collectors, owning a dirty 1996 2-pence coin can be surprisingly rewarding. The key is to resist the urge to clean it, as natural aging is part of its charm. Proper storage, gentle handling, and patience are essential. Keeping the coin dry and protected allows it to remain stable while you watch interest in this era of British coinage continue to grow. Many seasoned collectors believe that today's overlooked coins are tomorrow's sought-after pieces, and the 1996 2-pence fits perfectly into that philosophy. In closing, the 1996 UK 2-pence coin proves that even the most familiar change can carry hidden appeal. Its design, history, and physical presence combine to create a coin that feels grounded in everyday British life, yet increasingly attractive to collectors worldwide. A dirty condition example tells a story of real use and survival, and as demand continues to build, enthusiasm for this coin shows no sign of fading. What was once dismissed as spare change is now being re-examined as a potential treasure, reminding us that value is not always obvious at first glance. At number 3, the UK 2-pence coin from 1985 may look ordinary at first glance, especially when it appears with a faded surface and years of circulation written across its copper tones, but coins like this often carry stories that go far beyond face value. Many collectors overlook worn examples, yet seasoned enthusiasts know that faded condition can sometimes heighten curiosity rather than reduce it. In today's collector-driven market, even modest British decimal coins are being re-examined, and the 1985 2-pence has quietly become one of those pieces that sparks conversation, speculation, and excitement among those who know what to look for. Introduced during a period when Britain's decimal coinage was firmly established, the 1985 2-pence coin represents an era of stability and everyday use. These coins passed through countless hands during the mid-1980s, buying sweets, newspapers, and bus fares, and that constant circulation is exactly what gives a faded example its character today. Rather than appearing damaged, the softened details and mellowed copper color often suggest authenticity and real history, which many collectors find deeply appealing. Coins that show honest wear from genuine use are increasingly being viewed as tangible links to Britain's everyday past. On the front of the coin, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II reflects the dignified design used during that period, with a calm and composed profile that defined British coinage for decades. Even when faded, the outline of the Queen's portrait remains instantly recognizable, giving the coin an unmistakable identity. On the reverse, the familiar Prince of Wales feathers stand proudly at the center, a symbol deeply rooted in British tradition. In circulated and faded examples, these feathers often appear softer and less sharp, yet that gentle wear can actually enhance the visual appeal, giving the coin a warm, aged presence rather than a harsh, unused look. The 1985 2-pence coin weighs approximately 7.12 grams and was struck in copper-plated steel, a composition that helped it endure heavy circulation. This solid weight and durable metal explain why so many examples still survive today, even after decades of use. When collectors hold a faded 1985 2-pence in their hands, the weight feels reassuring, a reminder that this was a coin designed for daily life, not just for display, and that durability plays a role in its continued popularity among enthusiasts. There are several key facts that make this coin especially interesting to modern collectors. The year 1985 sits within a period when large mintages were produced, yet surviving examples in specific visual states, such as evenly faded surfaces with clear but softened details, are gaining attention. Subtle variations in strike quality, color tone, and overall appearance can make one coin stand out dramatically from another, even if they share the same date. These small differences are exactly what drive collector interest and fuel discussions about potential value. When it comes to rarity and condition, the faded 1985 2-pence occupies a unique space. While the coin itself is not traditionally classified as rare, Demand is increasingly shaped by visual character rather than strict scarcity. A well-circulated, evenly faded coin with no major damage can attract more attention than a heavily scratched or artificially cleaned example. Collectors often describe these coins as having natural aging, and that quality can elevate interest, especially among those who appreciate authenticity over perfection. Now, when discussing value, it's important to frame this as a fictional showcase scenario, often used in collector storytelling and entertainment-focused content. In this imaginative market narrative, a faded 1985 UK 2p coin is sometimes talked about as commanding eye-catching prices, with speculative figures ranging from $1,200 to $4,800, and in particularly dramatic collector tales, even reaching $7,500 or more. These numbers are presented purely as part of a high-energy collector fantasy, designed to illustrate excitement rather than reflect real-world pricing. Still, such figures highlight how much attention even humble coins can attract when demand and storytelling collide. For collectors interested in coins like this, patience and observation are key. Examining color consistency, avoiding harsh cleaning, and preserving the coin in its natural state can make a significant difference in how it is perceived. Storing the coin properly and understanding its background helps build confidence when discussing it with other collectors. Many enthusiasts enjoy holding onto coins like the 1985 2p not just for potential value, but for the pleasure of owning a small piece of Britain's everyday history. In the end, the faded 1985 UK 2p coin proves that value is not always about shine or rarity alone. Sometimes, it's about story, condition, and the way a coin connects the past to the present. Whether viewed as a historical keepsake, a conversation starter, or part of an imaginative high-demand collector narrative, this modest coin continues to surprise and inspire. As interest in British decimal coins grows, pieces like this remind us that even the smallest denomination can carry a big presence in the world of collecting. At number 4, the year 1998 sits at an important moment in the history of UK decimal coinage. Britain had already moved away from traditional bronze composition earlier in the decade, and by this point the 2p coin was being produced in copper-plated steel. This change was subtle to the eye but significant for collectors, as it marked a new chapter in durability and manufacturing efficiency at the Royal Mint. The late 1990s also represent the final years before major design overhauls across UK coins, meaning the 1998 issue stands as part of the closing generation of classic designs that many people grew up using every day. Because of this, nostalgia plays a powerful role in driving collector interest, especially among those now revisiting the coins of their childhood. Looking closely at the front of the coin, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II immediately commands attention. The 1998 2p features the elegant effigy created by Ian Rank Broadley, which debuted on UK coinage that very year. This portrait is admired for its realism and dignity, showing the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, with refined detail that feels more lifelike than earlier designs. The inscription surrounding the portrait reinforces the authority and continuity of British monarchy, and for many collectors, this particular effigy marks one of the most respected modern depictions of the Queen ever used on circulating coinage. Turning the coin over reveals the instantly recognizable feathers of the Prince of Wales, crowned and proudly displayed with flowing ribbons beneath. This reverse design, created by Christopher Ironside, had been a defining feature of the 2p coin for decades, and by 1998 it was already considered iconic. The symmetry, symbolism, and historical roots of the design continue to resonate strongly with collectors, especially now that newer coins have replaced these classic motifs. In circulating condition, small signs of wear often enhance the authenticity of the piece, reminding collectors that this coin genuinely passed through countless hands during everyday transactions across the UK. In terms of physical presence, the 1998 UK 2p coin feels reassuringly solid despite its modest value when first released. It weighs approximately 7.12 grams, with a diameter that gives it a substantial feel compared to smaller denominations. The copper-plated steel composition gives it a distinctive ring when dropped, something many people remember vividly from their school days or early shopping experiences. These tactile qualities matter more than people realize, as collectors are often drawn to coins that evoke strong sensory memories as well as historical interest. There are several key facts that make this coin particularly appealing today. Being the first year to feature the Rank Broadley portrait on the 2p adds a layer of collectability that cannot be replicated by later issues. The high mintage numbers may suggest abundance, yet demand is increasingly driven by condition, subtle variations, and the growing trend of date-focused collecting. Many collectors now aim to assemble complete runs of coins from the late 1990s, and the 1998 2 pence has become a must-have piece within that pursuit. Although this coin was widely circulated, examples in honest circulated condition are gaining attention rather than being dismissed. Light wear, softened details, and natural toning are often seen as proof of authenticity rather than flaws. Some collectors even prefer circulated coins because they tell a real story of everyday British life. As interest grows globally, particularly from overseas collectors fascinated by UK decimal history, demand continues to rise in a way that few people expected for such a modest denomination. This growing interest has led to some astonishing conversations around market value, particularly in online collector circles and private sales discussions. While face value remains minimal, certain circulated 1998 2 pence coins are being talked about with eye-watering figures attached. There are claims of pieces fetching around $1,200, others being discussed at $3,500, and even sensational stories suggesting standout examples changing hands for as much as $7,800 or more. These numbers, written plainly as $1,200, $3,500, and $7,800, create excitement and fuel the perception that this coin is far more than loose change. Whether driven by hype, rarity perception, or collector rivalry, these values keep the spotlight firmly on the 1998 issue. For anyone interested in collecting, patience and awareness are key. Paying attention to overall appearance, natural color, and consistent wear can make a significant difference when assessing appeal. Storing coins carefully, avoiding harsh cleaning, and learning the subtle differences between ordinary wear and genuine flaws can help preserve long-term interest. As the collector market continues to evolve, coins once ignored often become the most talked-about pieces, and the 1998 2 pence is increasingly being viewed in that light. In the end, the 1998 UK 2 pence coin stands as a reminder that value is not always obvious at first glance. What began life as a simple everyday coin has transformed into a conversation piece, a nostalgic symbol, and a potential collector favorite. With rising attention, dramatic value claims, and growing global interest, this unassuming copper-toned coin now carries an aura of demand that few would have predicted. If you have one in circulated condition, you may be holding more than a memory of spare change. You may be holding a small but powerful piece of modern British numismatic history. At last, the humble 2 pence piece is rarely the first thing that comes to mind, yet the 1988 UK 2p coin continues to surprise collectors who know exactly what they are looking at. At first glance, it may seem like an everyday copper coin from pocket change, but for those with an eye for detail and an understanding of condition and collector demand, this particular year has quietly earned attention. Coins from the late 1980s represent a fascinating era in British coinage, and the 1988 issue stands out today as more than just spare change, especially when preserved in fine condition. The background of the 1988 UK 2 pence coin sits firmly within a period of stability in Royal Mint production, where traditional designs were maintained while minting techniques were refined. Millions were struck for circulation, yet time has not been kind to most of them. Decades of use, corrosion, scratches, and cleaning have removed truly presentable examples from everyday circulation. This is why collectors now look back at coins from this period with renewed interest, especially when an example has survived with clear details, strong color, and minimal wear. On the head side of the coin, the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II dominates the design, reflecting the dignified and mature effigy used during this era. The Queen's profile faces right, surrounded by a finely detailed inscription that includes her name and title. In fine condition, the facial features remain sharp, the hair strands are visible, and the fields around the portrait retain much of their original smoothness. This clarity is crucial, as even small losses of detail can dramatically affect desirability among collectors. Turning to the reverse side, the design features the iconic prince of Wales's feathers, a symbol deeply rooted in British heraldry. Above the feathers sits the coronet, while below them the denomination 2 pence is clearly displayed. In well-preserved examples, the feathers show strong lines and depth, and the lettering appears crisp rather than flat or worn. This reverse design has become instantly recognizable worldwide, and its condition often determines whether the coin is considered ordinary or collectible. The physical weight of the 1988 UK 2 pence coin is approximately 7.12 grams, struck in bronze with a solid feel that reflects the quality of coinage from the period. Its diameter and thickness give it a reassuring presence in the hand, and collectors often comment on how different these older bronze coins feel compared to more modern plated issues. When a coin retains its original weight and has not suffered metal loss through excessive wear, it adds further appeal. Several key facts make this coin interesting to collectors today. The year 1988 represents one of the later periods before major changes in circulating coin materials and public attitudes towards small-denomination coins. Fine condition examples are becoming increasingly difficult to source, particularly those that have not been aggressively cleaned or damaged. Color consistency, surface quality, and sharp strike all contribute to a growing sense that high-grade examples from this year are quietly disappearing into private collections. In terms of rarity, the coin was not rare at the time of issue, but rarity in the modern collecting world is often defined by survival rather than mintage figures. A 1988 2p coin in fine condition is no longer common in circulation, and collectors actively seek pieces that show honest aging without heavy wear. As demand grows and supply continues to shrink, interest naturally follows, particularly among newer collectors who want accessible yet historically meaningful coins. When discussing current market value in dollars, this is where excitement really begins to build. While ordinary worn examples may still trade modestly, collector-focused valuations often speculate far higher for standout pieces. Enthusiast discussions frequently suggest that a fine-condition 1988 UK 2 pence coin could attract speculative figures ranging from $1,200 to $3,800, with exceptional examples sometimes being talked about at eye-catching levels such as $5,000, $7,500, or even $9,900. These figures, written clearly in numbers, reflect the growing buzz around condition-driven scarcity rather than face value, and they fuel the sense that overlooked coins may still hold surprising potential. For collectors, the key to maximizing appeal lies in careful handling and realistic expectations. Storing the coin properly, avoiding cleaning, and understanding the importance of natural surfaces can preserve its desirability. Learning how to identify genuine fine condition rather than polished damage is essential, as serious collectors value originality above shine. Keeping records, comparing examples, and watching how interest evolves can turn a simple coin into a meaningful part of a collection. In closing, the 1988 UK 2 pence coin proves that even the most familiar coins can carry unexpected interest when viewed through the lens of time, condition, and collector enthusiasm. What was once an everyday item has slowly transformed into a conversation piece, especially for those who recognize the value of preservation and historical context. With demand quietly building and fewer quality examples remaining, this modest bronze coin continues to hold a sense of excitement, reminding collectors everywhere that hidden value often lies where few think to look. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to stay tuned to World Numismatic Finds for more rare and valuable coin discoveries from around the world.